With the success of the action on the Mzima River, Major James took stock of what had worked. Lieutenant Hardingham, with 24 Askaris, had stalled a column of 200-plus Germans from his camp at Campiamarabu. To combat the African bush, additional outposts were being established to slow any advance aimed at the Tsavo Railroad Bridge. Notably, two separate spots in the Mzima Springs area, one at Tembo and another at the river junction near the Nol Turish. But the course of this video will focus on the original outpost at Campiamarabu. The camp was reoccupied by the British on the 11th of September, this time, though, garrisoned by men of a larger mixed force of the 4th King's African Rifles and Somali Scouts. The outpost was under both Lieutenant Foster of the A Company, 4th King's African Rifles, and Captain Isaacson of the East African Regiment. The Somali Scouts section of the East African Regiment will be noted in many sources as Cole's Scouts, of which Isaacson was second in command. The sources aren't clear if these Somalis were infantry or mounted troops. The various kraals were used to house the various mules used for mounts and baggage. The Somalis were used as pickets and patrols, while the British Askaris used to garrison the 2 of the 3 kraals and a bivouac camp. And for over a week, things were quiet. Captain Schultz, after having been beaten back on the 6th of September, was ordered by Vorbeck on the 13th of September to make another attempt. No additional reinforcements were sent, and Vorbeck doesn't seem to have been aware of the casualties and the tactics. His only concern was that another attempt be made by 13th Field Company on the Tsavo River Bridge. At this time, Schultz had around 100 men. 5:30 a.m. on the 19th of September, his column once again closed on the Campiamarabu. The Somali pickets caused Schultz's column to once again go from column into line. In this time, the British Somali pickets were able to retire to the British Askari camp and raise the alarm. The leadership at the British camp ordered it struck and the mules with the baggage sent north over the Old Turish River. As the British attempted to fall back and prepared to send a runner to Tsavo, Schultz ordered his men forward, cutting off some of the King's African Rifles. 7 British mules were shot and killed before they could cross the river, and Lieutenant Foster was mortally wounded at this time. Meanwhile, the encamped Somalis moved south and recovered the baggage mules and secured the baggage of the felled mules. Now, the 2 British forces were able to work over the Germans. Suffering Isaacson's counterattack, Schultz ordered a withdrawal. After 2 hours of combat, the Germans were once again falling back to Himo. Schultz again doesn't record any casualties, but the British were able to find 11 dead Askaris and 6 wounded left on the field. But there could possibly have been more. British losses were 1 officer and 6 dead British Askaris. Captain Isaacson recommends the British abandon the position. The men under his command would be better at Frost's Castle and Kichwa Tembo forts. 2 days later, on the 21st of September, they were given leave to withdraw. A company of the King's African Rifles were withdrawn by rail, while the Somali scouts were sent to Frost's Castle. Meanwhile, Schultz's men would be made once again to assault the Tsavo River Bridge, and the 3rd time would be the charm.